And like I said, I'm glad. I'm glad I took the time. I'm glad I took the time to slow cook. Slow cook. I don't mind it going into how. Yeah, it just went into part 3 or 4, whatever the hell. That's perfectly fine because I needed a slow roast for this. A slow roast to point out the incompetence, the incompetency, the corruption, the utter corruption, and the utter failure of that democratic city. You'd be better off. You might as well be living in Chicago or Baltimore. Talking about going to Memphis. I guess Memphis would be a better option, seeing that it would be much less expensive, but it's twice as dangerous. Get out while you still can. Get out while you still can. Set your baggage for exile. Daughter dwelling in Egypt, for Memphis will be laid to waste and bereft of inhabitants. That's what thus saith the Lord. I knew once I read that scripture, my life was on the line. Even with all the things that I experienced in Memphis, it's crazy. The time that I was there, I literally didn't believe that my life was in peril, that it was in danger every time I set foot outside of my either my dad's house, my mother's house, my grandmother's house, wherever it was I was living at the time. As a young man, contending for a bachelor's degree and trying to make a living in Memphis. And once I finally realized that I need to get the hell out of Memphis, I didn't realize just how much my life was in danger. But I always had this grim thought over my head, lingering over my head, coming from, that movie Boys in the Hood where Ricky, is running in some back alley out in South Central, some motherfucking where, and you know, get gets hit in the back with a 12 gauge. In the back of my mind, I always thought that could very well be me because I fit the description of those men whom that happens to at the hands of other men who look just like them. The only thing is, in that in that instance, that was that was a goon. But in Tyre Nichols' case, these were supposed police officers, people who were supposed to have been protecting him. That's why I say it takes little to nothing in that town. And I was just thinking that they juxtaposed this beating. They said it was much worse than eons worse than George Floyd and Rodney King combined because Rodney King survived, and even though George Floyd died, he was strangled. He was choked out. Whereas he was literally beaten to a bloody pulp. And again, where better to find this than my hometown, knowing my hometown, my former hometown. It ain't my hometown no more. This is my hometown until I say otherwise. And even with all the goofy nuances that come around this city, I just have to accept it for what it is. Because these Coloradans are weird than a motherfucker. But they'll do any day than some murderous ass Memphians. I'll tell you that much. With that said, I'm off. Still, just get out of Memphis. Get out of Memphis while you still can, while you got the time. For them goofy motherfuckers kill your ass. Because I guarantee you, if Pookie and Ray Ray out in the streets don't do it, this police officer, this police officer will, this police chief will, anybody in any kind of position of a power and authority will, you're not safe. I don't care who you are, who you think you are, because like I said, Eliza Fletcher was an heiress to a billionaire company. Her father was about to pass his billionaire inheritance to her. She was a teacher, a kindergarten teacher, probably at that K through 6 or whatever that elementary school is that they have on the side of campus at the University of Memphis. I think that's where she taught, which would make sense why she was, over there, by the field house getting ready to jog on Southern and Patterson. And look what happened to her. So I'm telling you, bro, you need to get out while you can. Get out while you can. So now I'll catch y'all in the next vid. I'm out.